My blood doth rise in the roots of yon oak, her sap doth run in my veins. Boundless my soul like the open sky, where the stars forever have lain. Where the stars, where the stars, where the stars forever have lain. My hands hold the weavings of time without end, my sight as deep as the sea, beating my heart sounds the measures of all that of love's eternity. That of love, that of love, that of love's eternity. I feel the tides as they answer the moon, rushing on a far distant sand. Waiting my song is the wind of my breast, and my love goes over the land. And my love, and my love, and my love goes over the land. My foot carries days of the old into new, our gleaming shows us the way. Wondrous our faith settles deep in the earth, rising green to bring a new day. Rising green, rising green, rising green to bring a new day.
Good morning on this summer Sunday. I'm the Reverend Tony Lorenzen, the minister at the Mattatuck Unitarian Universalist Society and the Unitarian Universalist Church in Meriden, and all of us are very happy you've decided to join us for one of our online summer services. This summer we are presenting some of the great sermons from around the Unitarian Universalist universe, and we hope you enjoy some of these powerful messages. But first, we begin by lighting the symbol of our faith, our flaming chalice.
Let this light be our guide. Let it lure us into letting go of worries, of the stiffness that sets in after all the striving, of the myth that productivity is purpose. The garden of life we've been given is a playground. Let's play. The weeding can wait.
I wish for you to be free from doubt. When you feel left behind or left out, when the world seems brighter everywhere else, and your mind is lost inside a wishing well. Right on time, you are right on time, you're right on time. Remember, the heart is a tender thing, restless and hopeful, it cries and sings. And sometimes you need shelter and a space to be a little tough, not tough enough, a little lost at sea. And when everyone is racing and you join in, If you can, try running with a smile, 'cause there is a danger in going too fast. Getting too far ahead can set you back. Right on time, you are right on time, you're right on time. You are right on time, you're right on time. And when you're tired and on your own, cried so many tears, they're all gone. When there's nothing you haven't tried to fix this uncertain road. When everywhere you look, you see regret, caught up in the past and what might have been. What we can never know will make our heads spin. A little love, a little trust, a lot of forgiveness. Right on time, you are right on time, you're right on time. What if we're right on time? We're right on time. We're right on time.
A Sufi story. Once upon a time, a stream, from its course in far-off mountains, passing through every kind of countryside, at last reached the sands of the desert.
Just as it crossed every other barrier, the stream tried to furrow across the sand, yet as fast as it ran to the sand, its waters disappeared.
It was convinced its destiny was to cross the desert, and yet there appeared to be no way. And then it heard a murmuring from the desert itself, a whisper. The wind can cross the desert, and so can the stream.
The stream replied it was flowing into the sand and could only be swallowed. The wind could fly it, and this was why it could cross the desert.
But by trusting in your usual methods, you will never get across. You will either disappear or become a quagmire. You must allow the wind to carry you to your destination.
But how is this possible? The stream asked.
By allowing yourself to be absorbed in the wind, came the answer.
The idea was not acceptable to the stream. It had never been observed before. It did not want to lose its individuality, because if it lost it, will it ever get it back?
The wind, said the sand, performs this function. It takes up water, carries it over the desert, and then lets it fall again. Falling as rain, the water becomes a river once more.
But can I not remain the same stream I am today?
You cannot remain so, the whisper said.
Your sense of part is carried away from the stream again, so you can only think of what you are now, and you've forgotten the essential part of yourself.
When it heard this, certain echoes began to arise in the thoughts of the stream. It vaguely remembered a state in which it, or some part of it, had been held in the arms of the wind. It also felt that somehow this was the right thing to do, even if it didn't seem to make any sense at all.
So with yet some hesitation, the stream raised itself into the welcoming arms of the wind, which gently and easily bore upwards and along, letting it fall softly on the roof of a mountain many, many miles away. And because it had such grave doubts, the stream was able to remember and record as strongly in its mind the details of experience.
Yes, of course, it said, as if waking from a dream. Now I know who I am. Thank you.
Far beyond the grasp of hands, or light to meet the eye, past the reaches of the mind. There find the key to nature's harmony, in an architecture so entwined. Like the birds whose patterns grace the sky, and carry all who join in love expanding, the message of peace will rise in flight, taking the weight of the world upon its wings. Leave the oneness of everything. Peace is in the dance of trees, who stir before the first breath of wind is yet perceived. Trust in the song becoming one with the dance, and the mysteries can be believed. Songs of lines long past that touch alone are written in the earth, ever giving, and now to maintain the harmony gives to us all life's worth living. For the oneness of everything. Still we seem to find a truth that we might understand and reduce to terms defined. Vast and immeasurable time and space, also overwhelmingly designed. Oh, passing years just might I know the faith that winters in the heart to be reborn in spring, to hear and to feel the pulse of life, and just my soul as a song to sing of the oneness of everything.
We are a circle, within a circle with no beginning and never ending. Good morning, beloveds. Good morning. Sweet. I often use this salutation, beloved, and I love what it recognizes and invites forth in myself and for the person before me. And yet, beginning to name being loved was a near painful realization for me to embody at first. And it was the jumpstart of my journey of vulnerability as a tool for liberation. Let me unpack that. When I was a teenager, I babysat a lot. And I love hanging out with children. It's a hoot and a half. I love spending time with children of various abilities and ages and personalities, and I learned a lot about human behavior, particularly mine. I learned that if you want to witness magic, mystery, or whatever you name it, watch 15 3-year-olds with only 1 or 2 adults. The number of head-on collisions, toy-to-face impacts, and wipeouts that take out new teeth that don't happen? Saved by happenstance or incredible timing. It's wild and it's serendipity on high speed. For those exhausting and amazing shifts, I learned there is something that holds us in relationship. We affect each other and even when not made physical, we are connected to one another, woven into a tapestry of something. Another lesson I remember is one evening I was hanging out with a kiddo, and after a tumultuous invitation to clean up his room, I realized that cleaning the room wasn't the problem. It was the frustration at being invited to what to him felt like an outsider's burden. The standard of cleanliness that I was imposing. So I called time out, and I led him through my lived practice of returning to awareness and addressing my needs so I may prepare for responsibility. We went to the kitchen and had a snack. And we talked about his day, where he's coming from, what happened at school, what his grandma recently told him. And we played, and eventually we got back to his room, and he cleaned up without the anger expressed earlier because he had tended to his own heart. And we had moved through the sticky instead of away. Later, while tucking in my pal that night, that sweet 7-year-old looked me in the eyes and said, "Thanks for being my friend." And then we proceeded to have a 30-minute conversation about death and letting go that he instigated. From that evening, I noted when we stay close, when we move with empathy and loving boundaries, when we seek to understand hurt in ourselves, we can not only have fun again, we can cultivate the grounds for greater connections, vulnerability, and responsible community partnership. We can be our own friend. And one final observation. After hours logged in conversation with bewildered infants, agency-hungry 2-year-olds, frustrated 6-year-olds, and overwhelmed 11-year-olds, I found genuine concern is often at the source of an outlandish reaction. And for the journey to unpack and address tender fears and unspoken beliefs, harsh judgment would not benefit either of us. I also realized we're all still kids, especially adults, who I judged most harshly as a teen. The epiphany of the empathy we crave, the respect we need, the self-awareness we are responsible to, and the love we thrive on, no matter our age, followed me into my late teens. I was near the beginning of my mental health journey, and I came to nose with a terrifying, daunting, great implications attached realization. The way I think, the chemicals in my brain, the people and the culture I am around, what I listen to and believe, curates the mental state I am in. Society, poor theology, and my own bewilderment turned resentment, burdened my soul. It riddled my heart with pinprick holes where my sense of worth, personhood, and wholeness were. The kids I babysat and nannied, who I recognized as dope humans deserving of love and care, were also the greatest hopes I had for myself, to recognize I am whole and I am growing. Yes. We are lovable, full of potential, and ever shaping our world. Like the first line in the chant today, we are a circle, cycling and moving, whole and sweet. And the most naked I ever felt was when I dared remember I inherently matter. It was a tough cookie to face. And when I championed having a right to love and acceptance from my idea of God and myself, the vulnerability train doesn't stop there. I had help learning the judgmental climate my mind and heart were in, and I need help. I need a village in unlearning it and to start relearning greater truth and love. The audacity I just tested, like a swatch of color against my arm, needed to be replicated, sized up, and expanded. So basically, I needed to dunk myself in the bright and nerve-wracking shade of vulnerability with a courage primer. When I began the journey of self-awareness, responsibility, and compassion, I was surprised and relieved. Y'all, there's nourishment along the way. It comes from others also on the path, sharing empathy and personal experiences. It's the interpersonal expansion of what Zen Buddhist monk Thich Nhat Hanh teaches in eating meditation. When eating fruit, he invites you to imagine the people that prepared it, transported it, picked it, planted it. Imagine the sun, moon, and stars that shined over it, the breeze and animals that kept it company. And he continues on, and soon you take bites of anything with incredible gratitude. That truly the universe conspired for what is in your mouth, the nourishment inside, and countless lives are invested in your meal. My liberation depends on greeting myself each day and practicing to greet all y'all with such wonder. Knowing I come from a village of humans who come from a community of humans who come from more humans who come from a legacy and lineage of humans. We go on and reach far into our ancestry, lives lived long ago. Their journey lining up to create the conditions for my own. I come from a church and a school and a society, a system which works and is in larger and larger systems, expanding and collaborating out. We are circles, and we benefit by remembering we are within circles and connected to others still. In short, we are not void or separate from the systems we are shaped by, and we are not exempt from the task of shaping them back. Vulnerability is bursting our privileged bubble of separateness by inquiring and addressing our 6 or less degrees of separation to oppression of all kinds. Oppression in our home is linked across the globe. Ageism and ableism are knotted with heteronormativity, gender binaries, unchecked religiosity, and perfectionism. Did you know environmental and economic injustice is firmly linked to racism, classism, forced migration, and reckless theology? All isms are terribly woven into the fabrics of each of our lives, and it demands vulnerability, laced with courage, to admit this, explore this, and address this in ourselves and in community. It's one thing to peek at this ever-expanding web of connections we are bound in, and it's another to be in relationship with it. We aren't woke by simply acknowledging it briskly and moving along. We don't elicit justice or equity by staying unmuddied and unbruised on the sidelines, protected by the illusion of otherness and purity. We are revolutionaries when we dare to be proximate and cultivate healthy relationship. We midwife a transformed world when we are immersed in the sticky. We are shapers of change when our baseline is participation and collaboration in the massive work at hand, not distant commentary, distraction, or aversions. We are warriors of love when we get so good at loving our holy selves and one another in overflow. It transforms the geography of our relationships and systems. We are who we have been waiting for when our courage overthrows the illusion of exceptionalism and vulnerability cultivates the grounds of living in service to a vision for a community and world that is inclusive, diverse, and growing. We are powerful and divine, and we are called into courageous and vulnerable relationship with the people, systems, and institutions we are woven among, especially those we have covenanted with. Simply put, we are a circle within a circle. And I deeply appreciate the balance in this chant and other Earth-centric traditions where the magic and expansion of who we are is presented with the equally important practice of humility and wonder. So a little personal, I am incredibly grateful that I came across a Unitarian Universalist community, All Souls in Tulsa, and joined 5 years ago. And I think it's pretty neat that I'm a minister now, and I'll get ordained in October. I have entered covenant with colleagues and congregates anew, in the ever-growing and transforming circles we are. Unitarian Universalism is so many things that I love and I respect. But today I want to list the things we're not. We are not inventors of justice. We are not the origin points of love. We are not soul revolutionaries or by any means the only group of big-hearted, deeply convicted people committed to coming together and creating at the intersecting points of our physical lives and our highest transcendental theological aspirations. In short, we are not alone. So yes, I'm inviting us here, the annual gathering of Unitarian Universalists, to remember we're not the only ones doing this. And if that irks you, or is a bummer, or maybe an insult, then my beloved, forget not how rad and delicious each and every one of us are. We are not exceptional, but we are incredibly unique. We only happen like this, come together like this once in history. Each moment is a blessing. We are the juice that brings personality and uniqueness to the arc of history, more grand than our lifespans. We are circles, whole and divine, and if we are in relationship, close proximity with ourselves and others, we can appreciate and be transformed by one another. So instead, yes. So instead, my statements of what we are not are freaking exciting, y'all. We didn't invent justice or the practice of seeking liberation. We aren't the only bank of histories and stories and programs striving to bend towards love. That means back home and here together, there are so many other circles, traditions, institutions, and people we have yet to get to know and be informed by and loved. That means we aren't the first or the last in the arena of vulnerability and courage, of society shaping and self-transformation. That means we have collaborators, partners, empathizers, friends, and a broader community network yet to tap into and flourish with. This means we can know how mightily vital we are and humbly cherish gratitude and awe for the movement much larger than ourselves we partake in. Gratitude and awe. Gratitude and awe are actually much more sustainable and sweet to a lifestyle, not a fad, a lifestyle of courage and vulnerability that say pride and elitism, which burn fast and bright, but leave you cold and chilled to the bone after the hype. Gratitude and awe put us in a posture to be open-hearted and to get in and stay in healthy relationship. Pride and elitism convince us to isolate our genius so we can thrive unpolluted, yet not realizing it will cut you off from the nutrients you need to survive. We are no island, no mythical hero. We are a circle within a circle with no beginning and never ending. Please join us in that chant. We've unpacked each line from this understanding of the declaration and the commitment to vulnerability and courage. Lift your voice however you do. If you would like, imagine in your mind's eye a lotus flower, blooming and opening, and inside another lotus flower. An endless chain of life and death, begetting life and death. Or imagine yourself, your lifespan, before you, hundreds of thousands of people and their lives. And after you, whether you procreate or not, hundreds and thousands of people. Not one of us comes into this world or leaves untouched by infinite lives. So let us begin. Please rise in body and spirit.
We are a circle within a circle, with no beginning and never ending. We are a circle within a circle, with no beginning and never ending. We are a circle within a circle, with no beginning.
Follow any voice you hear. There's no wrong way.
We are a circle. We are a circle. We are a circle and never ending. We are a circle. We are a circle with no circle and never ending. And never ending. We are a circle with no circle, with no ending, and never circle. We are a circle with no circle, with no ending, and never circle, with no beginning, and never ending, with no ending, and never circle within a circle. We are a circle within a circle. We are a circle. We are a circle. We are a circle within a circle.
We all know that times have been rough during pandemic and quarantine, and we do hope that you can lend some financial support to our efforts to continue to bring you online programming as we return to having in-person programming and services. We truly appreciate everything you can give. Thank you so much.
Our service may be drawing to a close, but there's always coffee hour. Please pour a cup of your favorite beverage and zoom on in. Join us for coffee at go.uucentralct.org/coffee. That's go.uucentralct.org/coffee. We'll see you in a few minutes.
Thanks for being with us this summer Sunday morning. We hope you enjoyed our message and our service today. We wish you a wonderful summer. Remember that even though the chalice is out, we take that flame with us in our hearts wherever we go. Go in peace, holy ones. We'll see you soon.
For the beauty of the earth, for the splendor of the skies, for the love which from our birth over and around us lies, source of all to thee we raise this our hymn of grateful praise. For the joy of here and I, for the heart and mind's delight, for the mystic harmony, linking sense to sound and sight, source of all to thee we raise this our hymn of grateful praise. For the wonder of each hour, of the day and of the night, hill and vale and tree and flower, sun and moon and stars of light, to thee we raise this our hymn of grateful praise. For the joy of human care, sister, brother, parent, child, for the kinship